Hey guys, MWUSA Season 4, Episode 196. Friday, couldn't get out of town. I was so tired in the morning, got up a little bit late. I was able to get to a casino that was relatively close by that only had slot machines and was still able to make a nice score there, over $2,000. Went and played some poker, made over $400 there, and ended the day I had almost $2,500. So excited about that. All that was awesome. Today is Saturday, like I said, and it is a hot day. Let me think what happened here this morning. So yesterday, Friday, I mentioned on my way home that I stopped by Verizon and I ended up getting two phones, one for my wife and one for my young son. And his birthday's coming up, but not quite yet. I will give it to him early though. But my wife got a new iPhone, and she had an Android always up until now. So for 20 years she's had an Android phone, and we're not really used to using Apple devices. So my kids were setting it up for us. Well, that had been activated by the store, and we go to use it. We sign in with the Apple account that we created, and we decided, we want to move everything over. So you connect a wire from the old phone to the new phone, and there's an app for moving stuff. Well, the kids got impatient. It's not really working. I'm going to cancel it and redo the phone. So they wiped the phone, and when they did, they also wiped out the cellular service somehow. So, I guess it's not like it used to be, where it used to have a card, maybe, and now they actually have to type in information when they wipe it. I don't know for sure. But so she puts in her username and password. She's connected to Wi-Fi. Everything is good. We go to turn on cellular, and we can't turn it on. Well, when we put in the username and password, it wanted to verify a code. So it's going to text you a code. The problem is, it's going to text the code to the phone that's no longer activated. So we did that about 3 times, and that failed. We did it another way, which is using her email, and that worked. And then it went back to a second way of verifying, which was also the text again. So what ended up happening is her account got locked out, and I think we tried it a few more times after that, which is a no-no, because once it's locked out and you keep trying, it extends the lockout longer and longer and longer. So this we were going to go to Verizon this morning, but my brother told me that Apple can do all that. So we go to Apple. As soon as they open, we get in there. They're super nice. I've never dealt with them really before, maybe like once before. But they told me that I had to go to Verizon and get it reactivated. We go to Verizon, we come back to Apple, and they're getting all the stuff moved over, and it's going to take like 30 hours. So I told her, make sure you get rid of pictures you don't need, get rid of text messages you don't need. She still had 9,500 pictures. She still had 112,000 messages. I'm like, I don't think you really weaned this down at all here. So it was going to take forever. So I said, why don't I just pay you for this cable? Because they used their cable, our cable was at home, and we can just let it do its thing in the car. So we did that. We put it in the car, and on our way home, she said, oh, can we stop by the jewelry store? Never say yes to that. Yeah, we'll do it. She's got a necklace that something was wrong with the clasp, and so she needed the clasp fixed. So she's like, this is the second time I've gotten a new clasp. Why don't I just get a new necklace? I'm like, okay, whatever. What's it going to be, $100? Just a basic gold necklace, white gold, 14 karat. It was like $600 plus. I'm like, we ain't doing that. So I said, well, how much does it cost to fix it? They're like, oh, we'll take care of that. They took it in the back and came back and was all fixed. I said, how much is it? And oh, it's okay, no charge. Okay, so $0 or $600. I think we're good. So hopefully she's good there. And then we went and got some food, went home, and before we went to the Apple store, I wanted to get some new tires for my car, so we dropped off my car at Walmart, and I got a message from them as we were leaving the Apple store. Your car has been checked in. So fast forward to about 4:45 p.m. I'm like, man, it's taking forever for my car to be ready. I go back and I look at the text message, and they had sent me 3 in a row. Your car's been checked in, your car is being worked on, your car is complete, all before noon. And my preview only showed the first one, so I thought they had just checked it in and not worked on it. So we were at my kid's game, so we went and picked up the car. She went back to the game, and I am heading down to a casino real quick. They have some kind of a free something today. Last time they gave me like 20 bucks, so I'm not really too excited about it, but just being there and having the ability to make some money will be nice. And I think we're going to go to dinner tonight. So as soon as I wrap this up, I'll head right back and we'll go to dinner, because tomorrow we were planning on having the lunch somewhere, dinner somewhere, but I'll be working tomorrow afternoon. So yeah, so I'm gonna head down to this casino, hopefully make a little bit more money, and then head back home. We'll go to dinner, and then I'll pick up with you tomorrow, which is Sunday the 10th. So that's what's going on right now, and I'll be back to update you. Alright guys, I am back. One good thing about being parked in the middle of nowhere is I'm parked so far away. There's trees at the end of the parking lot, and my car is actually in the shade, so it's not going to be 1500 degrees when I get in the car. It's only going to be 1200 degrees. Actually, wow, still pretty cool in here actually. It's only about 80 in here, so that's nice. I walk into this place and it is jam-packed. It's like they're giving away $1 million or something. Everybody's here. Everybody's gonna win some money. Everybody's excited to be here. And I walk in, every machine is packed. Looking around, not seeing any plays though. I'm walking around to the high limit area. As I'm walking into it, this guy's walking out. And I said, anything going on? He's like, nothing. He said, nothing all day long. I said, that's kind of hard to believe, nothing all day long. So I walk around with him for a minute, and I have this game piece. It was like $40, $40 winner. And then, okay, so you come all the way here, right, for $40, and you're like, dang it, only $40. And then I made it worse because I had a game something, some kind of prize thing that I won for $10. So now I've got 50 whole dollars. So $50 is pretty good, right? You could turn it into something. The one thing I found that was in range and that guy would not play was at $15 a spin. That's like 3 spins, right? Of course, it pays okay, but not good. There's 2 different ways it could pay out. I got the lower of the 2, and I was involved in the machine for a total of $200. I was down like 150, which is not bad, and I ended up hitting it and walking away with 560, which means I ended up with a profit of $360. So 360, hey, we'll take that. That's pretty nice. It's nice. And temperature is just pretty hot. That's all I can say. I think it's like 84 or 85. Let's take a look here. Yeah, it's 89. Feels like 93. So but right now I'm going to head to dinner with the family, and I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow when I'm on my way out of town to hit the big time, baby. All right, I'll be back tomorrow. All right, guys, I am back. It is 2:40 p.m. and it is just oppressingly hot outside. Just ridiculously hot outside. Just heading out for the day. It's gonna be another long day. You know, I don't like leaving this late in the day, but I don't have a choice. Right now it's 88 degrees, feels like 92, and we are just heading out. Our first stop is about 4 hours away or so, and we'll have to stop for fuel a couple hours into our trip, and then we'll continue on to our first stop. Now, I mean, it's that far away, and I'm only going to have like an hour and 20 minutes for my first session. because of a shift change happening a little bit after that. But then I'll have unlimited time for my second session. So if it takes me a little bit longer to make money, that would be okay. Sunday used to be one of my big days. Now it's really shriveled up because I have less options on Sunday. Most of the places I want to go to are just way too far, and it doesn't make sense to leave late Sunday. Plus I took a week off of work this week, so when I get back to the office, it's going to be just tons of work to do. I did plug in my laptop before I left home, so it should be fine by the time, should be fully charged by the time I get back. Right now we are heading out to our first casino and just going to get settled in here, and then I'll be back and we'll have a chat. Alright guys, a long time later. I am 3 miles away from the casino I am going to. Finally getting here. I've been listening to podcasts for the last couple hours, getting caught up on some stuff. I will never get caught up on my podcasts. I mean, I need infinite time at this point. I will never get there, but doing my best to get caught up, and just about to get to this casino. I'm going to have an hour and 15 minutes solid time before the new pit crew gets in, and then so I will leave at that point, probably go get some food, and then come back for the new team that comes in afterward. Probably I don't know if I'll cash out or not. Just depends on how much it is. If I have a large amount of chips, I'll probably cash out, $2,000, $2,500, something like that, and then come back later on and we'll play again. So that's what our goal is right now. And then depending on how things go on the next shift, we'll decide if we're going to other casinos or not, just depending on how long this takes. So that's what's going on right now, and I'll be back to update you. Alright guys, I am back, and nice to be in a good parking garage here, not too hot in here, and just getting ready to leave, pulling out, and had an okay session in there. I walk in and I'm looking for blackjack and slots, and I'm looking at blackjack everywhere. All the tables are full. Check out slots for a while again, go back to blackjack, back to slots, finally find a blackjack table that's open. I go sit down, and the guy at the table next to me gets up and walks over to that table and goes, "I'm going to play over here." He goes, "She ran out of cards over there." I'm like, you understand, like, you can get more cards, right? They don't just close the table, they shuffle and they put the cards back up there. Anyway, he ended up sitting with me, and he played third base. I played right next to him, and actually had pretty decent variance there, a little bit of up and down, but not too much. But this guy was so worried about golf that was going on, he wasn't really paying attention to the table. He wasn't playing his hand. He kept on telling me, I'm paying more attention to the golf than to the game. And I said, "Are you down or up?" And he said he was up 500. I said, "Why don't you go watch the golf?" And at that point, I was up exactly 1,000. We had just swung into a negative part of the shoe, and he's like, "Well, are you going to keep playing?" I'm like, "I'm getting up. I'm good." And he got up and walked away and started watching golf, and he left his card, and the lady had bought in for 500 and colored up for exactly 1,500, and she colors me up with a $500 and a $1,000 chip. And I wish I could push the button right now for like a laugh track. How many years have I been coming here? I don't play rated. Don't give me $1,000 chips. So I said, no, you got to give me purple. And she's like, "Oh, okay." And I'm trying to get his attention. I'm calling his name to get him his card, because he left his card at the table. And she's just taking her sweet time. And then finally, they approve the 1,500. I take the card to him. I go to the cashier. It's just a lot of people waiting. Go to another cashier, and I'm able to cash it out there, plus 1,000. I look at slots for about 20 more minutes, can't find anything. There's one borderline play. It's a high denomination and it's borderline. And I've played this game and hit big, but I've also been down 5,000 or 6,000 on this thing before it hit. So with it being borderline, I decided against the play and ended up leaving the casino just with the blackjack plus 1,000. So not a bad little start. The guy was kind of a character. The dealer was like, had zero emotion at all. She's just going through the motions, like she's been there forever, not even paying attention, just going through the motions. The pit was all paying attention to other stuff. I mean, she's like coloring up 1,500, and nobody says anything. You know, it takes a little while, so they weren't really paying attention. And I know the reason is because the next shift is coming in. They're getting all the paperwork and everything done for that, but glad to be out of there. We're going to go for a little drive here, then we're going to come back after the shift change, and we'll try to do it again. I cashed out all my chips, so we'll start fresh and see what happens there, and then decide what to do after that. So you're all caught up, and I'll be back to update you soon. Alright guys, I am back and went and got some food, got some grilled steak. Beautiful grilled steak, about almost a pound of it, I would say, for under $10. Unbelievable. Delicious. Perfect. Just cooked perfectly. Had that, and back at the casino. Shift change is happening, and I'm going to go in, take my time getting in there, go to the restroom, and then by that time the shift change would have happened, and we're going to try to play some more blackjack. Then I think we're going to go, if all goes well, we'll go to a casino that we've been backed off recently, but not told not to come back. They just said, we'd like you to leave. So we'll see what happens, and depending on how that goes, we might do that again. So we're going to do it one step at a time. Right now we're going to go in there and try to play a little bit of blackjack, and I'll be back to update you. Alright guys, I am back. So I decided I'm not going to go to the other place, and the reason is because I know who's going to be working there today on the evening shift, and I don't want to mess with it, so it doesn't make sense for me to expose myself for no reason. I'm better off going when I know certain people are not going to be there, so I decided to let it go. I just stayed at this casino a little bit longer. I did play only one session of blackjack. It was so hard to find a table, but eventually I was able to find a blackjack table, played that one, ended ahead exactly $500. So nice round numbers here today, plus 500 more on the blackjack. And then I did play some slots finally, and did not find very much other than the borderline play that will probably be here for a week, because no one wants to spend that much on it. I ended the slot session ahead $12. So then I'm going back to my car. I'm like, okay, well, I'm thinking about going to this other place, and then I thought, man, it's not a good idea to go today. So I decided to go back, and I wasn't completely out the door. Turned around, looked at a few slots, and thought, you know, it wouldn't be a terrible idea to play a little bit of poker. It's early enough now. I can still get home at a decent hour, and I could play a little bit of poker. And I'm getting a little bit better. I understand my deficiencies in it. I'm not saying I'm a good player. I totally understand how much I have to learn, right? I know what I don't know, in other words. So I'm just starting to pick it up and do a little bit better, even though it's been over 20 years of playing it. I bought in for 200 on a 1-3 no limit table, and some interesting things happened. It was a brand new table, just opened up. Sit down, buy in for 200. The guy sits next to me, and he's talking like a mile a minute, and he's like taking over the conversation on the whole table. And he's like, let me do this, let me do that, let me go over here, let me do this, blah, 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 blah. I've got all these phones. He's got like 10 phones in his bag. He's got like 50 wires in his bag for his phones. He's got chargers, he's got battery packs, all this stuff in there. I'm like, how did this guy even get in the casino with all these wires and stuff in his bag? But he's showing me an interview where someone interviewed him. It was on YouTube, and he was multi-tabling like 70 tables, he said, at the same time. And he plays, I think, I don't know what this is. I'm not endorsing it at all, because I don't even know what it is. I think it was called poker, like Pokerrrr, and then the number or something at the end. What it is you create like a club. It's Poker 2. It's play poker with your friends online. And he had 2 phones that he was playing it. And he said that these guys own a club, these different clubs around the country, and he just sits in on the tables to help them, and they stake them, and he helps get the games going. And he was playing 2 of them. One was a Omaha 5-card high-low, and one was an Omaha 5-card high-only. And he was playing both of those at the same time. He had them plugged into a battery pack while he was playing. And he was talking nonstop. And sometimes he'd have a hand, and the dealer couldn't even get it in, to say, it's on you, because he's talking so much and so fast. And everyone's a little bit annoyed with him, but I thought it was darn funny. And he's like, hey, you ever had these edibles? And I'm like, if you're on edibles, I'd hate to see what you're like when you're not on edibles, because you are going a million miles a second. And so he ended up playing a little while longer, but he was playing some big hands, and it looks like it's a real thing. But I guess, so these club owners will stake him, and if he makes a profit, they get half and he gets half. And if he loses, then they cover it. So I guess that's a pretty reasonable thing. But he says he plays like 6 or 8 of these around the country. He's like, this one's in Alabama, this one's in, I forget what he said, Kentucky or something. This one's in Arizona. And he's like, I play with the same guys every day. And he's just in charge of like staying there. And he has to play a minimum of 70 hands a day, he said. I don't know if it counts it. I don't know anything about it, but very interesting character. I had some decent variance on that table. Actually, it was more good play than variance. There was one interesting hand I wanted to tell you about. And that was I had Jack Queen offsuit. I think I was in the big blind maybe, and it went all the way around. And I just checked, and there was like 3 of us, and the flop was 2-10-9. So I've got Jack Queen, so I've got 9-10 Jack Queen with a 2, and there were 2 diamonds on the board, and the turn was an 8. So now I'm open-ended. No, that's not right. It was 10-9-8 was the flop. My fault. That 2 went to the other thing I was taking notes on. My apologies. 10-9-8. So I flopped the straight, the nut straight, and there were 2 diamonds on the board. And the turn was a 7. So now it extended my straight, but I still have the nuts. And the river was a 6. And he bets 50. The one guy that was left bet 50 on the river. I go all in. He calls. I end up winning that hand. It was like $240 or something. So that was a nice hand. But other than that, not too many exciting hands. I did take down a couple hands. And then now I want your advice here. And I hear all these poker players, and they act like the most moral people in the whole world. But the thing is, I've known a lot of poker players my whole life, and very few of them are very moral. So of the ones that I know, I'm not saying as a blanket statement that they're not moral, but so we played a bomb pot. The bomb pot is a hold'em hand with 2 boards, right? So there were 5 of us in the hand. I think it's $10 actually, $10 to get in. So there's $50. And the first, I had a king 9, and the first board had a king, and the second board had a flush draw. Check, check. So the guy makes it like whatever, 20. I called, so there was only two of us. The flop comes, there was a king on the board, so I had top pair. The other board had a flush draw, and then so he checks, I check, and the turn was a blank on top. It made a flush on the bottom. So he checks, I check, and the river was a blank, and it put another diamond on the bottom. So now there's 4 diamonds on the board, and he makes it 50. I call. So I'm thinking he's got the bottom, he's got the flush, and I've got the king on top. You know, probably a little bit of a loose call for sure, but he was checking most of the time anyway. It didn't seem like he had anything. Turns out he had trips on the top. He had a set of 3s actually, so I lost the top. And on the bottom, it looked like I had king high and I won, and everyone agreed that I had king high and I won the bottom, and the dealer split it up. And I noticed, just as she was taking the cards away, that there were 4 diamonds on the bottom, and he had a 3 of diamonds. Do you stop it and say, hey, here's your money, or do you keep the money? You tell me. I don't know. Everybody agreed, he agreed, the dealer agreed, and she paid everything out. After the hand is over and she's taking the cards away and nobody said anything, do you stop it and say, no, take my money? Give me your feedback on that. I'd like to hear what you have to say about that. So I ended that session ahead, $145. So did pretty well. So we're up, what, 15, 16, almost 1,700. Not bad for only stopping at one place. And I'm considering stopping at another place that I'm not supposed to be playing at. I'm going to consider that. Right now I got a couple hours of driving before I have to make that decision, and I'll be back to update you. Alright guys, let's get caught up here. So stopped and got fuel again, and just continuing my trip here. I want to go over some things that I've gotten some questions about, and I think it's important. Sometimes I think people just think I only win and I don't lose, and obviously that's not true. I do lose, and when I lose pretty big. However, when I win, I tend to cut my sessions short, and therefore a lot of the times that I'm at a casino, I'm in and out, and they hardly notice that I'm there, even though I might go there more than once in a week. So I don't bring a lot of attention to myself, and when I'm losing, I do kind of ham it up and make it a big deal, and I'm able to use a lot of that drama to expand my bet range and make it easier for me to win my money back or get ahead or whatever. And every once in a while there'll be a huge count, and I'll make up some excuse that I'm going all in, I'm giving up or whatever, and but the count actually asked for that huge bet. And if I lose, then I might say, you know what, screw it, I'm going to just keep on going. I know I said it was my last hand, but I can't lose this money, or something like that. So if any ploppy goes into a casino and they play blackjack, there is a chance that they're going to win, right? There is a chance that I'm going to win when I go in and play blackjack, even though I have negative counts. I play for 45 minutes. It's always negative. I never raise my bet, or very little, and I end up ahead my target, and I end up leaving, right? So because that's a possibility, and because it's a possibility that the average person can win, lots of times they have nothing to analyze. They analyze my play. I played for 3 shoes, and it was negative the whole time, and I didn't raise my bet. Well, there's nothing there, right? Other times, when I do raise, I'll end up getting my money back, and I'll leave even or slightly ahead for a reason. I try to keep it under 4 shoes, be made up of 2 positive and 2 negative shoes, because that's a lot of the times what they're looking for. They're looking for 2 positive, 2 negative shoes. They're going to look at your bets as the count changes, and they're going to determine whether or not they think that you're counting. Now, if I have 10 bad shoes and 1 okay shoe, and I end up even, slightly down, slightly up, whatever it might be, and take off, they don't really have a lot to go on. I was flat betting a lot of the time. I got frustrated at the end. I raised my bet. It just happened to be a positive count, and then I left. So that could have happened to everyone. They get frustrated and they start pressing their bets and things like that. So, that's part of it. Another part of it is, and this was all in an email, and I replied to the email also. A lot of it also is that, okay, I'm starting at a $15 table. I lose $400. Do I go to a 1 to 10 spread from 50 to 500 instead of 15 to 150? No, I don't. However, if I'm at that table, I'm down 400, the count is extremely negative, it's early in the shoe, I may switch tables, and it might be a $50 table, but it might be a $25 table. So then I'll do the 1 to 10 spread there, which might make it easier for me to get my money back because the minimum bet is higher, but also the variance could go the other way where I get all negative counts on that table and I lose more massively than that 400 or whatever I was down, if that makes sense. So the way that I play, I've mentioned it in the past, I do have a high winning percentage, but the losses that I have are pretty big, and I've worked on managing like a stop loss without it being really a stop loss. However, I have left down 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, even though I'm not close to a CTR level, because it's starting to look suspicious, because I just had 3 shoes in a row where I raised a lot because the count went up. This one's been negative, and although I ended that shoe frustrated and betting 500, now I'm betting $15 on this next shoe. If I'm thinking that this is looking really, really bad, I may switch tables or leave the casino completely, take the loss, and move on. And I remember at least more than once, but at least this one that came to my mind just now, where I was down, and I had won so many times in a row. I was down like 3,000 or 4,000 at this casino and just left. And I kind of wanted them to see me lose. And then I didn't actually come back later on in the day, I think, and played. But you got to learn the casinos that you're playing at and understand what you can get away with and what you can't. I've played at casinos even recently. I'm doing a 1 to 5 spread. I'm attracting attention. There's no way moving to another table or making my spread bigger is going to minimize the attention that I'm getting. So you just kind of have to go with the flow and figure out what you can get away with, what pit bosses, what dealers you can get away with, and things like that. So hopefully that's helpful to you. Alright guys, real quick, let's do some segments here. What did you eat today, MW? And I had, this morning I grilled some chicken breast, and I had some broccoli with that. That was delicious. I give that probably a 10 on a scale of 2 through ace. This afternoon I had some grilled steak at a place that I stopped. It was pretty good, a little bit dry. I give that probably a 9 on a scale of 2 through ace. And then that was really all I could do. I tried to stop a little while ago when I got fuel. Tried to get a sandwich at this gas station restaurant, without the bun, of course. But they had a sign that said, "Sorry for the inconvenience, we will be closed for another 2 hours or so." Like it was like midnight or something like that. So that was all I ate. I did grab some beef jerky and ate a little bit of that as I was driving. So, and what did you tip today, MW? And I had 2 sessions of blackjack today. I did play some poker. Blackjack, first session made $1,000 and tipped $0. And the second session, I made $500 and tipped $0. And as far as poker, I only played for about 45 minutes, probably had 6 winning hands, maybe, something like that, and tipped $1 on each of those hands. So that's what I tipped. And what did you learn today, MW? What did I learn? I learned that on a Sunday I need to plan a little bit better, because if I'm going to try to hit the same casino twice, I need to make sure I give myself at least a couple hours of playtime. I only gave myself like an hour and 20 minutes before I had to leave that casino. Luckily my session was shorter than that, but it could have been longer, and then I would have been stuck with only one session because the same crew would have been there, or I would have had to take the risk of them figuring out a little bit more about what I'm doing. So yeah, tomorrow is Monday. We're going to be at work. We're going to go do a little bit of gambling tomorrow afternoon. If I get home before 2, I'm going to try to do a little bit of work for the office. I doubt I will. I think I'll be too tired. But tomorrow we're going to hit it hard at the office and get caught up, hopefully by the time we go to the casino, but just before lunch, and then maybe do a little work after lunch and get caught up on some of my longer term goals that I have at work, and be ready for our afternoon meeting with the team. So that's what's happening right now. And today was a warm day. Expect the rest of the week to be very similar. The air conditioning in the car pretty much was good to me most of the time. There was probably a half hour there where it wasn't working too well, but we'll figure out what the problem is with it. I'm kind of starting to think that maybe it's overheating, like it's working too hard, and that's what the problem is. So I'm going to experiment a little bit with, when I notice less air is coming out of the vents, maybe shutting it off for 5 or 10 minutes and seeing if that makes a difference or not. But right now it is it's around midnight and 74 degrees outside. The low tonight's going to be around 66 with another hot day tomorrow, and we'll catch up then and have some more discussions. There is a lot more email I want to get to, but I just don't want to have hour-long podcasts, so I'll slowly get to it. I apologize if it's taking a long time. If I'm not replying to your email for a long time and you're not hearing me reply to it online on the podcast, it just probably means that I've been busy, and I will try to get to it. If you want to try me again, you're welcome to, but I pretty much reply to 99% of emails. The only ones I really don't is like these people saying, hey, I can get you more views on your podcast. I really don't care if I get more views on the podcast. I like having quality people, and I get plenty of views as it is. So the thing that I'm focused on is making myself better and helping other people make themselves better. So anyway, I'm going to let you go for now. If you have any questions or comments, my email is mwusa21@gmail.com, mwusa21@gmail.com. See you next time.